happening, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. Dude, it's a beautiful day, 85 degrees, October 27th. I will take it. I will take it. Today we're going to talk about the M3, the E90 M3, the 5 things that I absolutely love about this car. Now that I've owned it for a few months, I don't know, 4 months I think I've owned this car, I have a couple of things I want to say about it. A couple of things that I feel like I can now speak upon because I've owned the car for a little bit and I've experienced it for a little bit. And I'll tell you what, right out of the gate, I really do enjoy this car a ton. But before we get into today's video, this car needs a wash and I need a coffee. Let's take care of those. Yes, got that coffee acquired. Let's go get this thing washed. Just like that, my friends, we have a clean M3. Dang. So that dryer I was using is incredible. Works really well on the ceramic. Everything nice, dry. Alright, so that whole wash took about, I don't know, 15 minutes. The dryer, that dryer that I'm using is amazing. I bought it a couple of weeks ago and I've kind of been putting it through the ringer on each car with different wash scenarios. That thing has absolutely been critical to a solid, quick wash. My drying methods before were simply to just drive home and then use my shop vac and turn it in reverse. So I wanted something that was electric, rechargeable, and like portable, not too large, but had enough power to dry the car, and the charge would last long enough to dry the entire car. So after a bit of research, I found that that was the one to get. It isn't necessarily the cheapest one to buy, but I have found that when I've purchased cheaper ones in the past, they haven't worked well. They've either broken or they simply just do not dry the car like I had hoped. So if you guys are interested in buying that, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description. I'm telling you right now, I've been looking for the right one and that is the right one. It has 6 different settings in terms of speed. I just leave it on full blast when I'm using it the whole time and it lasts on full blast for a good amount of time, enough for me to dry the entire car and then some. It also comes with like a little adapter that goes on the front that changes the airflow. Don't use that, just take that off. It does nothing but really restrict the airflow, so you really just want it full blast the whole time when you're drying your car. Anyways, I know that I was gonna have some comments asking where I got that dryer. Link down in the description. All right, so let's head over to the spot and start this video talking about the 5 things that I absolutely love on my M3. You guys know what time it is. Check out the whip in the window. Ooh, panda, panda. You guys know you do that. You know you do it, and if you don't do it, you bought the wrong car. Alright, you guys. guys, today we are talking about the 5 things that I absolutely love on my E90 M3. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I wanted to make this video almost immediately when I bought the M3, but I wanted to give it some time. I wanted to give the E90 M3 ownership experience a little bit of time before I gave you guys my honest opinion on owning this car. So let's preface this video with, if you are new here, my name is John. I do all F30 and E90 BMW content. I own an F30 328i as my daily driver, and I also own this E90 M3 as more of like my weekend project car. This whole channel started out with the F30 base, and that eventually turned into a little bit of a show car and just a fun building experience that I could share with my viewers. So I really do intend on doing that exact same thing with this car. As I own it, I want to share my experience with you guys. As I modify it, I want to share the tutorials, DIYs, and that experience as well with you guys. With the F30, I made videos like things that I love about the car, features I love about the car, things that I dislike about the car, things that I hate about the car. I intend on doing the exact same thing with this E90 M3. So this is the first of that series, and these are the 5 things that I absolutely love about owning an E90 M3. So this E90 M3 is an LCI DCT transmission with 70,000 miles on it, and I absolutely love it. The first thing that I want to talk about that I really appreciate on this car is the handling. The handling in this car is absolutely phenomenal. So I've driven a wide variety of different cars with different suspensions on them. Everything from just springs to upgraded shocks to coilovers to bags, all kinds of different suspensions I've owned and driven. This car at the moment right now is riding with H&R Sport springs and stock shocks. I think the H&R springs are okay. I don't think they're great. I'm gonna be changing them out because they're just not quite what I was looking for. The drop really wasn't aggressive enough for me in the front. It hardly even dropped the car in the front at all. And the overall ride comfort is very harsh. But the thing that I will speak on is the fact that I love how rigid this car is when you are driving it. It is absolutely planted to the ground. And if you've ever driven an E90 or an E92, it is a very raw feeling car. When you're driving these cars, you can feel everything. And that's honestly something that I've come to love with the E90 chassis, because the F30 is very electronic, which definitely has its pros because the F30 has become a very comfortable daily driver for me. Now that I have this to drive on the weekends, it's nice to take the F30 out during the week when I'm getting groceries or running errands. I don't have to take this, I can take the F30, which is very comfortable to get in and out of places and just kind of cruise around town with. This, however, is more of like a beast. As soon as you get into the cockpit of this car and you fire it up and you are overlooking that hood scoop, it just feels like you are about to drive a monster. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It really is a special experience to be able to own one of these cars. And I don't know if I'll own this car forever. I really hope that I can own this car for as long as possible because it honestly is special to me. I didn't really plan on buying this car. It's not really something that I had desired for a long time. The opportunity came about and I found myself in the situation buying it, and I was really grateful once I got it because I discovered how special this car truly is. So with all of that being said, the first thing that I absolutely love about this car is the way that it handles. Even stock, before I got the springs on the car, it handled so well, like way better than my F30. There's no body roll whatsoever. I think it also has to do with the size of the wheels on the car. They are 19 by 10 on the front and 19 by 11 on the back. So the car overall just has a very wide stance and it's very low to the ground, which just makes it feel absolutely planted. And you can really feel everything when you are driving it. And that alone has honestly really made me fall in love with the E90 M3. Before getting into like power or styling, handling is something that I've come to really appreciate in BMWs, especially this car. I really enjoy taking some weekends and just going through the mountains or driving down windy roads and seeing how well the car can handle. That's when I really feel like the car and that whole driving experience comes to life. So the second thing that I absolutely love about this car is the engine. The S65 V8 is absolutely amazing. I will say that this car is not the peppiest when it comes to torque. It takes a while for it to get up to its sweet spot, which is in the higher RPMs. This car redlines at 8,400 RPMs, and I'm telling you, when you get up to 4,500, 5,000 RPMs, it screams, and it's an absolute blast to drive once you get up there. So I currently do not have an exhaust on this car. It is all stock, but I do intend on getting an exhaust and doing some other upgrades, and I'm really excited for that because I know how good these engines can sound, these cars can sound with simple mods like intake and exhaust. They sound totally different. So I'm really just taking my time and enjoying the modifying experience of this car, because when I did the F30, I kind of rushed through a lot of stuff. While it was really fun to see a lot of things happen fast, I really want to milk the experience of modifying the E90 M3. I'm kind of taking it a little bit slower with this car, and that's intentional because I want to enjoy the car in its raw form before I start throwing mods on it. So in the immediate future, we do have some maintenance things that we need to take care of. We need to do the rod bearings. The throttle body actuators were already done, so I'm already taken care of with that, but I have to do the rod bearings. These cars are very well known for having bad rod bearings or rod bearing issues, and if you guys are interested in any information on that, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. Just type in S65 rod bearings and you will see all of the videos that people make on the rod bearing failures with this car. It isn't something that I'm super scared about, but it is something that I know that I'm going to have to take care of in the future if I want to intend on keeping this car for a long time and further modifying it. As far as modifications in the immediate future, I am going to be doing all the basic bolt-ons. I'll be doing the intake and exhaust and maybe some headers just to allow that S65 to really come to life. As far as forced induction, I probably wouldn't go the turbo route. I would probably go the supercharger route, just because this car does lack in torque, and I really do think that the supercharger is just the way to go with this car. Eventually, I will be doing that. The third thing that I absolutely love about this car is the braking. The brakes on this thing are insanely powerful, and it's just stock brakes. So I'm obviously comparing my experience with this E90 M3 when it comes to the brakes with the F30 that I own. And my F30 in particular has just never felt that great when it came to the actual braking. This car, however, brakes extremely well. And that was one of the first things that I noticed with the handling. The braking is so good on this car. And this car is not light. It feels like a tank when you are driving it. And so in order to stop that car, you really do need some nice brakes. I think BMW did a fantastic job with the braking setup in this car. I do think at some point in the future, I will look into a different brake kit, maybe like a Brembo or something like that. But like I said before, I'm taking my time when it comes to modifying this car. All right, so number four, the fourth thing that I absolutely love about this car, the styling. Just the body style and the absolute girth of the car. The M3 comes with those wide fenders, that big hood scoop, and it just looks so good. So that was one of the first things that I absolutely fell in love with on my E90 M3 was just the way that this car stances, the way that it stands, just stock, looks so good. And I really do believe that the E90 and the E92, they're timeless. I still can't believe that they made these cars in 2011 because it just feels like such a newer car. It feels like they were so ahead of their time when they designed these. When you're sitting in the cockpit, this hood scoop looks massive. It looks so big. And it just makes you feel like you are stepping into a race car. So the overall design of this car and just the body style is something that I've really fallen in love with. It's got those wide hips, the vents on the side. So I really got lucky when I had the opportunity to pick this one up. And I'd really just been toying with the idea of possibly getting one of these, and then I found one that was not even 5 miles away from my house, and I knew that that was the one. I pulled the trigger immediately. I drove it once and I just went for it. And I really haven't regretted that decision since. This car has been an absolute blast to own. So when I bought the car, it was not in the condition that it is in now. It took a little bit of TLC and some time for us to really bring it back to life, but it is finally, this car is perfect. Like, this car is in fantastic condition. We did a full paint correction. We replaced the front bumper with the Euro bumper, obviously had it painted. I painted the mirror caps black. I painted the shark fin black. We wrapped the roof in S-Tech PPF black. We PPF'd the entire car in Expel, and then we ceramic coated the entire car. We did 2 coats of 9H base layer and 1 coat of 9H top layer. And now this car is absolutely in fantastic condition. We also had quite a few dings in the car when I first bought it that I had to have taken out as well. So this car was not perfect when I bought it. It took a lot of TLC to get it to this point, and obviously the other wheels that came on the car were trashed as well. And I just got these new ones put on by Variant that are just gorgeous. I mean, I absolutely love those wheels. They're super aggressive and they look sick. So the car was nowhere near perfect when I first bought it, but now it is finally in a condition that I'm just really happy with. Recently, we also added the 1x1 carbon fiber weave on the front, the 1x1 carbon fiber weave on the side skirts, and then I also have the rear diffuser coming. It is not here yet. And then this is actually also carbon fiber, but I had it paint matched to the car. I get a lot of hate for that. It just looks so much cleaner paint matched, and that's kind of why I decided to go with it. Just a cleaner setup. I wanted to keep all of the carbon fiber on the bottom end. So that was kind of my thought process with it. All of the carbon fiber will be on the rear diffuser, obviously side skirt extensions, and the front. In terms of exterior modifications, I'm really happy where it's at. The only other thing I want to do are the customized headlights. I haven't quite figured out which ones I'm going to do or which company I'm going to go through, but I am definitely doing the customized headlights just to kind of give that front end a little bit of a facelift. It looks really good now, but it'll look a lot better once I have the custom headlights done. We also added tint on it. We have 50% on the front and 20% all around, all ceramic tint, which just really helps with this North Carolina sun. In terms of internal modifications, the inside of this car is completely stock. I ordered a new steering wheel, full custom steering wheel, and I'm also going to be ordering seats, new seats for the front. I don't think that the seats are that great in this car. I'm thinking some Recaro bucket seats on the inside, and that will pretty much complete everything for me. From there, we're going to be diving into the engine. Yeah, I went on a tangent there. I'm sorry about that. I just love this car, man. I love talking about this car because I don't talk about it enough. This is an F30 channel, and recently I've been talking a lot about the F30 because a lot has been going on with the F30, but I haven't been doing a lot of content on the E90, and I just want to give this car some love today and kind of bring you guys up to speed with my mindset, my plans on this car. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a fantastic build. When we do the rod bearings, we are also doing the motor mounts, and we're also doing the valve cover and a valve cover gasket. It just makes sense to replace the motor mounts when you're down there because those are things that go bad in this car. So when we do get into the rod bearings, I'm definitely going to be taking care of the motor mounts as well. All right, so number 5, the 5th thing that I absolutely love about owning this car are the modification opportunities. This was also something that I had talked about with the F30, but obviously the E90 has been around a little bit longer, and there are so many mods out there for this car. The E92, the E90, and the E93, there are so many modifications available for this car because so many people have been modifying them for so long. I love that. It just creates so much more opportunity for someone like me who wants to make content and build their car. We have endless options. So the F30 has become very popular over the past couple of years because it has dropped in price so much that people can afford it. You're able to get into like a $50,000, $60,000 BMW for almost 15, 16, 20K. And all of the companies that make the mods for it have noticed that, they have recognized that, and they have stepped up and made a ton of opportunities and modifications for the F-Series platform. So since buying an E90, I've been able to kind of compare that experience to modifying this car. How many mods are available? Turns out there are a ton. Now, when it comes to what I want to do with my car, I'm a little bit more particular and hesitant to put certain things on my car. But I have found that the experience in general has been great because there's so many things that you can do to these cars, and there's so many people that are making different parts for these cars. So anytime that you are about to buy a car and you're going to be modifying it, that is something that you want to think about. Are there any mods available? How many mods are available? Are a lot of people doing those mods? Are they easy to get? Are they expensive? This car is definitely a little bit more expensive to modify than the F30. You can find a lot of cheap parts for the F30, but there is certainly no shortage in the amount of things that you can do to this car and the amount of people that are making the parts for this car. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna add in a bonus one, number 6. It's gonna be a controversial one. The transmission. The DCT, I know.
Save the manuals. Why didn't you get a manual? You're missing a pedal, bro.
Drive a DCT transmission before you talk. It is amazing. I've owned numerous manual cars in the past. There's nothing wrong with manual cars. I do like manual cars. I like automatic cars. But I'm telling you right now, the DCT transmission is fantastic in this car. When you are driving this car with the DCT transmission, you have many different options available. You can put it into M mode, where the shifting is extremely violent. It is fast, it is hard, and it is violent. With the paddles, you still get the shifting experience, but obviously you aren't using your clutch pedal and you aren't using a stick, which is fine. That's fine. For some people, they have to have the manual, and I totally get it. I grew up driving manual cars. I totally understand that. But this car is an exception. I've driven both manual and DCT transmission E90 and E92 M3s, and the DCT transmission is a fantastic transmission. So not only does it shift hard and fast, but it's also versatile. I can switch this thing over to granny mode, turn down the clamping all the way, and it is a breeze to drive. This thing really does come to life when you are driving it hard, so I think that it's kind of out of its element when you aren't driving it hard. But for the people that do daily these cars and you're in traffic a lot, you can put it in granny mode. I call it granny mode, but you just turn down the clamping all the way, and it really is a comfortable car to drive around. You really do get a little bit of everything with the DCT transmission. You get a lot of the sport feel, you get a lot of the aggression, but you also get a little bit of the comfort. Now I know that that is going to be controversial for a lot of you. Some of you are going to hate on that. Some of you are gonna be like, you are crazy, bro. The manuals are the only way to go. I do like manuals. I think it's great. Everyone has their own preference, and that's fine. You guys have your opinion, I have mine, but the DCT is fantastic. And if you haven't driven one, make sure you drive one. If you are basing your opinion on a DCT transmission and you haven't driven a DCT transmission, do that first. And I will say that I really do enjoy the experience of driving a manual car. I've owned plenty of them in the past. But this E90 M3 with the DCT transmission is the way to go for me. All right, so there you go. Those are the 6 things. It's supposed to be 5, but I gave you that bonus. Things that I love about having this E90 M3 in my life. You better believe I'm gonna follow this up with a video about the 5 things I do not like about the E90 M3, because there are things. This car is quirky. As much as it has its peaks, it also has its valleys. But this car is beautiful. I love this car. I'm telling you right now, you guys, if you haven't had the opportunity to drive an E90, E92, E93, S65 M3, do it. Before you die, go drive one of these. Find a friend, find someone, find one at a dealership. Just go drive these cars because they're a fantastic experience. Anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap this one up. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do comment down below. What do you think about those 5 things? Comment down below and tell me your thoughts. Do you own an E90, E92, E93 M3? Tell me what you think about your car. I'd love to hear it. And like I said before, you guys, these are just my opinions on my car. We all have our own opinions, and that's totally fine. That's what makes YouTube and content and making these videos honestly great. So go ahead and leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think. Like this video, hit that bell notification, subscribe. Just like that, this video is over and I'm out. Peace.